No place to hide. No place to hide. Alright, welcome back. I'm playing a game that'll be more fun to stream, because... Plus, if I feel like not streaming this specific game, there's all the Serious Sam games I could stream, so... Wait, I like that title. I didn't even know you posted. Well, see, you haven't posted in a while. I mean, you posted. I know you posted the update video recently, but like, it doesn't really notify me very much when you post Jurassic Buffer.
We're at this,
I'm watching it right now, 1:13, so I'm gonna watch it.
Called Renato, that's the name of it. And not sure if you can see on the television there, but they are, yes, thank you very much. They are playing Jurassic Buffer.
What the fuck?
Lay down.
We're actually eating now. Actually finished with my pizza at the moment. I'm not going to eat any more of that, but as you can see, Jurassic Buffer is still buffering. It's still buffering.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but the fact that a professional-looking restaurant, the movie's buffering out.
It was about, I don't know, maybe 6:30.
I like Michael's comment. Looks better than the sequels to the original combined. Better than Dominion, or way better than Dominion. So yeah, my Jurassic ranking, I don't know if I already told you this, but JP1, I put JP2 because it has very tense moments. People actually die in the damn movie. That alone gives it some selling, and plus it's something different. Jurassic World, because they actually opened up the park, and it was actually something kind of fresh. And then the sequels after that, boo. Part 3 is technically the worst, but you can have fun with it. And Part 5, which is obviously Fallen Kingdom, it's not really a great movie either, but there's some new ideas in it. Dominion, boring. So I think Dominion's easily the worst. And I think I was talking to Ahab recently, and according to him, the worst one is the second movie. I'm like, what the hell kind of drugs are you on?
I'm partial to the first 2 sequels, as I grew up with them. The World Trilogy, to me, can suffer.
See, I wouldn't count the World Trilogy as a whole, because I like the first of the trilogy. Like, some people now look back on it like people look at Star Wars 7, but I'm telling you, when it came out, everyone loved it. I remember I saw it in the theater, everybody loved it. I'm pretty sure everyone still loves it. I just think it's just like that whole, I'm not saying you're faking your hate or anything. I just noticed that, like, after the second movie sucked ass, I noticed this whole bandwagoning to it. When I remember almost every single person loved that movie. Yeah. Like, there is some elements of it that I think don't work as well and kind of could be done better, but I don't hate it. It's definitely, I'll say this, at least Dominion's not the worst sequel of all time. The worst sequel of all time would have to be Alien Covenant. What a piece of shit. Like, Alien Covenant is so bad that it makes you wonder. Like, Alien Covenant is so bad that it makes you want to put I don't know, Donald Trump as president again, just so I don't know, if nukes go off, then at least you won't have to see Covenant again or hear about Covenant again. Sorry for the weird jokes, but like, it's true. It sucks. It's not good. Alright, so I want to tell. Alright, so so this is actually a game I can pause so I can talk to you about books I read this summer. Alright. So, alright. Books I read this summer. Actually, books I read this year in general. So the first book I read this year is The Last Wish. That's really good. That's the first of The Witcher. Second book I read this year was The Black Phone. I saw the movie. I love the movie, and the book is really good too. Well, it's a bunch of short stories, so the movie is actually superior in its storytelling. And the short story is like so short though. Like just the basic parts of the movie are the story of the story. But the whole short story collection as a whole is really good, and the final story is such a just gut-wrenching, dark twist. And then the third book I read this year is The Stars Like Dust. I love that book. It's probably my favorite Asimov book, besides Empire. Foundation Empire, I mean. And Foundation Empire is just a really good bridge, so tightly written.
Utopia was the first book I read in 5 months. Before that, I reread Conan Doyle's The Lost World, my favorite.
Nice. Then I also read Stephen King's Salem's Lot for the first time. You see, when I first got into Stephen King, I made the wrong choice of not reading in his published order. And then when characters from his other books show up in other books and kind of spoil other books, well, that kind of ruins some parts of your enjoyment. So that's why I always suggest chronological release order, since all his books are in the same universe. Oh, you should definitely finally check out King eventually. Like, I know Ahab really wants you to check out King. Like, obviously his first novels, like when it comes to, like, the order, like, his first books don't necessarily, like, they didn't plan the universe, and then in the late 80s, he planned every book is in the same universe, which is hilarious. Every book is in the same goddamn universe. He's the only author I know that's done that, asides, like, Lovecraft and fucking Barker and all that shit. Like, every book is in the same universe. Anyways, and then after that, speaking of Barker, I read Books of Blood Volumes 1 to 3, which I love. That's a masterpiece. And I think the short story, what's the title? The short story called Rawhead Rex might be one of the best stories I've ever read, as well as In the Hills to Cities. It's an amazing masterpiece of writing. Then I read 2001: A Space Odyssey for the first time, and I actually really enjoyed the book. It was so good, in fact, I read the damn thing in one sitting because I was actually in the process of a move. I moved to a new house. So that was really good. And then I read Life, the Universe, and Everything by Douglas Adams, and I'll be honest, I hate that fucking piece of shit.
I have Harry, Two Stands, Skeleton Crew, Needful Things, and From A Buick 8. Which would you recon?
So when it comes to those, Needful Things, do not read that until you've read the Castle Rock books, because that spoils the shit out of The Dead Zone, Cujo, and The Dark Half. And those books are really, really good. And you don't want those ones to be ruined for you, so skip that. The Stand actually introduces the Randall Flagg, who becomes the center villain of pretty much the entire King multiverse. So that's actually a must-read, and that's actually an early book, so it's not like it ties back into everything. The only book it references is The Shining, but that's just because of the powers. It's not spoiling nothing. That's a good one. And Carrie is his first book. I think that's a really good one to start with, because it kind of shows you his growth as a writer, because that one also is very differently written. It's not written like your conventional novel. It's kind of written like a newspaper report. It's actually coming from different points of view of people talking about the events that transpired. And it's obviously his first book, so it's obviously a good starter, and it kind of introduces the main elements of King. Like, it introduces you to Supernatural, the way he writes his characters, his type of villains, his type of endings. Like I'm not saying like all this stuff is similar.
In 4 days, I have a feeling I'll be able to read bigger books quicker.
Yeah. So I'd suggest definitely start probably with Carrie. From A Buick 8 is very good. Also, if you read The Stand, read the Uncut edition, because that's the canonized edition. But yeah, but From A Buick 8 is very good, but it's not a story. It's actually not a novel. It's an examination of terror. It's a strange, like, It's about people who watch a fucking car. Like that's what the whole thing's about. It's people who watch a strange car, where strange things happen. But the whole examination is very Lovecraftian, and very interesting, and the whole mystery behind it that they never actually answer. You create your questions. You kind of create the story. There's no beginning. There's no ending. It's kind of just a middle, and that's what I really love about the book. It's actually one of my favorite King books. It's probably my favorite King book of all time is The Dark Tower of the Gunslinger. My second favorite is Hearts in Atlantis. That's a masterpiece.
Harry it is.
Yeah, and plus Gary is short as shit, so like, hey, you can read that, and then I don't know, read The Stand. Like, I think you like it. Light the Universe and Everything by Douglas Adams. I read that recently. I fucking hate that piece of shit. I'll be honest. I like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The first book is really good. Second book, it's not very good. And the third one, I didn't even understand what the hell happened in that. I didn't understand what the hell happened in that. Next book I read was Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, a masterpiece. It's one of the best science fiction books ever written. It is the best cyberpunkian dystopian science fiction ever written. It's a masterpiece, and obviously the movie is a classic. Nosferatu by Joe Hill, the best dark fantasy book I've ever read. So that's another solid one. That's a big book. That's like 800 pages almost.
Hitchhiker's book. Need to reread it soon.
It's a good book, and only if it didn't end on a cliffhanger where I tell you to skip the rest of the series. Unfortunately, it ends on a cliffhanger, so you can't really skip the rest of the series, because then you don't know what the fuck everything is, obviously. So that's kind of what ruins that book for me. But yeah, Nosferatu by Joe Hill, which is spelled NOS482. It's a pun. It's also the most unique vampire book I've ever read. I think it's one you'd really enjoy. It's written by the son of Stephen King, so it's got very Stephen Kingian elements. And obviously when I watched The Black Phone, it's very Stephen Kingian. There's even some King references, like. Then I also read Heart of Darkness, which I know is one of your favorite books, and I loved it. Heart of Darkness actually was so good, I went back and read it a second time. It's short as shit anyway, so it was really good, and it's kind of a really powerful read. Then after that, I read Lovecraft Country, which is another really good book. It's kind of this Lovecraftian take on magic and people of the 50s. And the main character, as I've been told, is actually a representation of what Lovecraft would be like if he was a good black man instead of being a racist white man. So, like, that's kind of what I've been told is that Lovecraft Country, the main character, is kind of based on, and it's a very unique read. The TV show, Hyde Parker's Damnation Game, I've heard is very good. There's one scene that's considered very triggering. But it's very, like, Lenny Clive Barker is very good. Anyways, Lovecraft Country, like, there's absolutely no monsters in the book. There's references to monsters. There's actually references to a ghost, but nothing is explicitly explained or, it's all up to the imagination, kind of like how Lovecraft kind of did to you. Like, maybe all these monsters are actually just a part of madness. But unfortunately, the TV show, which is actually pretty good, the TV show kind of makes it clear, yeah, there's monsters like, oh, there's an Abume, oh, there's a Kalolu. Again, like, they don't, some of these are not even like Lovecraft monsters, like, some of these are like urban legends, so it's more like urban legend country. And the reason it's called Lovecraft Country is because the first town they go to is owned by a wizard cult, which the wizard cult, you don't exactly see them do any magic at all. You see some weird magical elements, and there's some fantasy. There's some fantasy in it, but the town is called Ardham, which is kind of a play of words on Arkham. So that's why they call it the Lovecraft Country, because it's very and it's there's a lot of it's about Jim Crow laws, and then at the end it kind of shows that the laws are being lifted. It's kind of the time of when the 50s, like late 50s and 60s, when black people could kind of start, living their lives. Then after that, I read the October Country.
The proper pronunciation of Fluflu.
Yeah, because I finally read the notes and I saw how it's spelled, how he intended it to be pronounced. And I remember you mentioned that, and then I saw it was in his notes and saw how he pronounced them, and I just kind of remembered it, and I'm like, wow, like, why do people, like, claiming to be Lovecraft fans, but can't even call fucking Cthulhu fucking Cthulhu? Like, if it's in the notes and you know everything about Lovecraft, how come you can't call the fucking thing Cthulhu? Excuse my language a bunch, but, you know. Then I also read The October Country by Ray Bradbury, and I loved it. Loved all the short stories. And actually, it's a very, I was surprised by how dark a lot of the stories were. A lot of them ended up being stories about murder. And it turned out to be stories about the macabre, and I found it very interesting. I'm like, that was actually pretty neat. I really enjoyed it. And some of the stories tied together, so it's almost somewhat like a fix-up novel. Like I, Robot is a fix-up novel, but yeah, I was really impressed. It's actually my first Ray Bradbury book, and I really liked it. Then, of course, yesterday I read Sword of Destiny, which I really loved. And then today I read The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which was pretty good. So yeah, that's all I read recently. I think you'd probably like that Lovecraft Country book. The next book I'm reading, I think I'm going to finally finish To Have and Have Not. As I have not even read it before. I mean, I started it, but I didn't finish it yet. I was going to read Firestarter by Stephen King. I know Ahab hates the new movie and hates the old movie and hates that novel. I think you should, because, like, what people told me about his writing style being weird, when I was reading the book, I didn't notice, like, a weird writing style. It seems like his most streamlined book, honestly. Like, it seems like a book that, like anyone could pick up and read and understand, like, oh, this is a book of the macabre. Like, all the short stories are just about the macabre, like, every single one, and it can be horror, sci-fi, and all that, but it ends in, like, a macabre way. It even has a happy ending. It has kind of a macabre twist. Yeah. I very rarely read a bad book, because like, when I start reading something that I really dislike, then I obviously don't really want to continue it anymore. I've never exactly put a book down, but the only book I ever put down is called, I forgot even who the hell the goddamn author was, but the book was called The Rules, and I hate that goddamn book so much. I want to remember what the author was so I can blast this book. But it was so bad I couldn't even finish the fucking thing. It was such a piece of shit. Hey, I've never read Fahrenheit. I want to. I want to read a lot of Bradbury. Obviously, you know, I'm very, very keen on classic science fiction, science fantasy, and science horror, and that kind of stuff. And he seems very science horror, and some science fantasy, but he seems very science horror, and that's my kind of thing. Like, I read the description of, like, Something Wicked This Way Comes, and that seems kind of neat, or Dark Carnival. Like, seems like my kind of thing. Book I'm currently, so yeah, I'm gonna read To Have and Have Not next. I might finally read Jurassic Park next, not Jurassic Buffer. Yeah. And, I have Futuristic Violence and Fancy Suits. I don't know if I showed you, but I got this hardcover recently of Michael Crichton's Rising Sun. I showed it in the video. I'm hoping to finish The Silmarillion soon, because I really need to finish that goddamn book. The TV show is coming out, and I want to shit all over that show. It looks like shit. It looks bad. The TV show looks awful. The TV show looks more awful than getting the vasectomy. Like, that's how awful the show. That's how awful the show is. And I'll be honest, I've actually watched the first episode, so I'm not really like being judgmental, just judging one shitty trailer. No, I've actually seen the first episode. Someone sent me a link, and I watched the first episode, and it was so fucking bad. I still don't even understand what it's about. Like, no one I know actually knows what it's about. It actually makes literally zero sense. The teasers and everything, like, I was talking to Goontek recently about this and went on a whole like half an hour rant about how Rings of Power will be the worst piece of shit in history. It'll definitely be a worse prequel or sequel than goddamn Dominion, which is easier said than done. All I can say is, like, from what I've seen of Rings of Power, just skip it. If you're a Narnia fan, I guess you'll like it. It's more of a Narnia show than it is a goddamn Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power thing. Oh, I was talking about the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings, the new show, and how it looks like shit. And that it's probably gonna. I've seen the first episode. Someone sent me a link, and I got to see the first episode because they got it pirated. Yeah, legal. But I saw it, and it sucks. It sucks. It doesn't even make sense. Like that's another thing. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, what is the damn thing even about? Like, I don't know. It's about various events of the second age of Middle Earth. But that's it. Like, it's just events. Like, you're watching. It's based. It's a 2-season TV show, multiple episodes, based on a 20-page section of the book. 20-page. And half the characters aren't even in the goddamn book. And not only that, the other half is based on the unfinished section of another book that was also 10 goddamn pages. So it's based on 30 pages. A 2-season TV show based on 30 pages. And I shit you not, it feels like it's 30 pages. The show just meanders and meanders, and it's awful. It's gonna be easily the worst show ever. I'm calling it. I've seen the first episode. I've seen what the hell we have to watch. Well, we don't have to watch it. We can speak over a wall and not watch the damn thing. But I know a lot of people are gonna watch the thing, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. As a fan of Tolkien and LOTR, of course, I'm gonna hate it.
Except no substitutes.
Like, I'm more of a fan of Tolkien. I went out and bought a copy of Silmarillion and Beren and Luthien. Most people claim they're a fan of Tolkien, but will only read 2 books by Tolkien: Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. He wrote more than 2 books. There's more. Check out more. If you like Lord of the Rings, check out more. There's lots to read. Kind of like George Orwell. Like George Orwell, yeah, he wrote 2 famous books, but he wrote 5 other books as well.
Forget it.
Like, go check them out if you like George Orwell or something. I noticed I have a lot of people, like, there's authors that they claim to like, but they've only read 1 or 2 books by them, and never will go read any more by them. It's almost like that with directors as well. Like, you notice some horror directors of the 80s, like, they'll have one big hit, like Wes Craven had Nightmare on Elm Street, and then none of his movies after are a success until Scream. Well, Shocker made money, I believe, but not that much money.
Hey, was your daddy a pilot? Because you.
But yeah, like Shocker was something.
What's that, Prince?
Alright.
This is what it sounds like from Dove's Club. Thought so.
Alright. This game is good and all, but this ain't no Serious Sam second encounter.
Made the term Orwellian a cliche. Much of what goes on in society are more in line with Aldous Huxley's writing.
Yeah, but unfortunately, people claim like not enough people, unfortunately, will go out and check out Aldous Huxley or anything really, because if they don't Google it, it doesn't exist. That's in their brain. Like, look at how many good horror movies, like, people just don't watch. Like, or people will ignore sequels or ignore prequels or stuff like that because they don't Google, like, I like Lovecraft Country, so I Googled up some of Matt Ruff's books, and now I'm on the lookout to find, fuck, I forgot the title, but there's one he wrote that's about what if 9/11 never happened. And I'm like, that sounds interesting, so I kind of want to pick that up. If you're like an author, maybe check out more by that author. Maybe you might like what you see. I like Neil Blomkamp movies, so I'll check out more Neil Blomkamp. And I've seen all of Neil Blomkamp's movies, except for Demonic, because Demonic came out.
They never will.
Exactly. If people don't read it in school, they'll claim it's not very good. Yeah. Or people do read in school, they'll claim it's shit because school assigned it, and then they'll go back to reading, I don't know, fucking 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey is awful. Awful. I don't know why people actually bought into that book, bought into the idea. It's not a good story at all. Nothing about that book is good. Alright, I've already seen this intro before, so I'm just gonna skip it for now.
I'm a lumberjack!
Look, Ma, I'm a lumberjack. This is the greatest quote of all time. Or like Stephen King, some kids will just read it and never go read Carrie or The Long Walk or The Shining or Pet Sematary or they'll only read his horror stuff and never bother exploring anything of his. Like, people call him the king of horror, but he's not actually a horror author. Like, I'd say that he's probably like the least horror author I've ever read. Because, like, Stephen King has a lot of horror elements in his books, but, like, I'm sorry, Carrie's not a horror novel. It's not a horror novel. Salem's Lot's a horror novel. Shining's a horror novel. Stand is kind of a horror novel, but it's more like drama of horror elements. It's a tale of dark Christianity, a tale of good versus evil. The Dead Zone's not really a horror novel. It has some horror elements again, but it's not really a horror novel. Like, it's called The King of Horror, but there's only one book of his that's actually scared me, and I know a lot of people who've never been scared by King, like, and I know there's a lot of people that's scared by King are like young kids or just people who get anxiety by watching horror movies. So if you don't get scared that easily, you're not gonna get scared by King, really. So he's a guy I would not recommend going to for scares. He's a guy, but he's a good author. Yeah, like it's another author, Dean Koontz, or Dick Kuntz as we call him. Dick Kuntz, because that's his new look. Dick Kuntz, he's actually called a horror author. I always see him in the horror section. I've never read a damn book by him that is strictly horror or scary. Like, there's some scary elements in some of his books, but most of his books are more like mystery or thriller, really. Mystery, thriller, crime, and action. Like, most of his books are action books. I've never been scared by a Dean Koontz book. I never found anything like... There's some elements of like the horror, like maybe there'll be a ghost in one book, but most of his books are like government conspiracies and stuff like that. Christianity, action. Like, there's nothing scary. Well, what's so goddamn scary about, I don't know, someone opening the door to heaven? What's scary about that? I don't know. There's nothing scary in the damn book.
Suspense stories with elements of science fiction into supernatural.
That is a good, accurate representation of Dean Koontz. I think he's a master of suspense. most of his books are suspense. In fact, probably all of his books are suspense. Because the large majority of the ones I have are suspense, and the ones I always see at the store are suspense, and the ones I've heard about online are suspense. So, like, he has a large catalog of suspense. But then again, Stephen King, not Stephen King. Clive Barker is always typecast as just a gore horror author. Like, yeah, some of his stories have gore in them, but he's more a dark fantasy.
Any recommendations? Perhaps from the Bald Era?
Oh, you see, from the Bald Era. Okay, when it comes to Coons, oh, I love to rant about Coons. What's the ones I've read? I think you'd really like Demon Seed, but one I'd absolutely recommend because it is just such a tense thriller is Lightning, which is about a guy who is kind of a spy Nazi. It's not really an actual Nazi. It's a guy who just is kind of forced to work for people. He takes what's called the Lightning Road, which is a belt that takes you to the future. And they want to know how they lose in the Nazis make this guy go so they can learn how to win against the British and the Americans in the future, because obviously they lose. So they want to learn, but then this guy falls in love with a woman, and she turns out to be paralyzed. So he goes back to the day that someone shot her and paralyzed her, saves her, and he keeps coming in her life throughout various events and stuff like that. And then so people start catching wind of it, and they track him down throughout the future. So it's a very interesting book because it's all about the future. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it on, because saying any more will actually spoil shit. It's a fantastic read. I think that's one you'd really like. Just a guy, just a man out of time. That's a good one. What's another good one? Shit. Intensity is a really good one, but that's an intense-ass read. Darkfall is really fun. I think you'd like that one. It's about gremlins in New York. Before Gremlins 2 was even a thing, so it's like Gremlins in New York. Fear Nothing is really is a masterpiece. I know Hayhab would hate me for saying that, but Fear Nothing's really good. The second book, though, Season Night's a piece of shit, but Fear Nothing's really good. Like, his books where he has, like, different concepts, like, guy who can't walk in sunlight, that's a different concept. Odd Thomas, guy sees ghosts, different concept. Watchers, that's the first one with a monster and a government assassin, guy and a girl and a dog. Because every Dean Koontz book has a guy and a girl and a dog. And sulfur lights and a government conspiracy and aliens or at some fucking point, or some magic or some shit. And then a guy talking about toupees, or he actually talks about toupees in some books. House of Lightning is a funny ass book. I think that one has a stupid ass ending. It's a piece of shit. It's a shit book, but it's so bad it's kind of good. Phantom's a classic.
A copy of Watchers. Couldn't stand the bloody hair.
Holy shit, that fucking killed me. Holy shit, man. It's the funniest shit I've heard in a week. Oh my god, I was not expecting that. Damn, you kind of shouldn't have gotten rid of that though, because that's a really good book. And that's kind of one of the best ways to read that book. I know a copy you're talking about, because I know you've shown it before. And obviously it's in a better print, so it's easier to read, but like, holy shit, that made me die. Dude, I have one book with his original face. It's in the thumbnail of my TBR video, the Mr. Murder. Like, damn, he looks so badass. A friend of mine's trying to get me a copy of Brave New World and 1984 so I can read both and examine both. Because I've been curious about both books. I'm more so curious about 1984 because of some of the more famous political elements of the book is interesting, the socio-political ideology. And Brave New World because that's kind of where the idea sort of came from pretty much. I know you're not a fan of 1984, so, yeah. I mean, I know you're a fan of Animal Farm, but I know you're not a fan of 1984. But I recently found out the movie, the sequel to Logan Run, like a thematic sequel, but I just think that's funny, because I just bought a copy of the Logan Run movie recently. I never read the book. I want it, though, because it seems like my kind of thing. And I would say, hey, the guy has the same name as me, Logan. But I'm Josephine now. I remember, like, I thought of for hours, like, what name I kind of wanted to go by, because hearing the name Logan kind of makes me dysphoric. Because that just makes me kind of, like, think, like, yeah, I'm in the boy's body. Yeah. Saying that now is just kind of making me dizzy. So I probably should stop talking about that, but I'll keep talking about that. But yeah, like, it took me hours, and then, like, I figured out Josephine. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a great name. And for short, someone could just call me Joey. And it's nice when I wake up in the morning and someone's like, hey, Joey, what you up to, or something.
184 is bone dry. Most of the ideas can be applied to any age, and much of it is over-exaggerated by people who have never read it.
What's the worst book I've ever read? The Rules is pretty fucking bad. The worst book I ever finished, though, was Wizard and Glass. I hated Season 8. I talked about this book before, but there's this author that I absolutely just fucking hate, and his name is John Saul. It's an author that Ahab also happens to hate as well. And John Saul, he sucks, dude, but, he wrote a book I thought it might have been interesting. I heard it's a good book. I heard it's considered a horror classic. It's called The Right Hand of Evil. And then I read the damn thing, and the book sucked. The book was lame. It was really fucking boring as well. It sucked. I'm always looking for really good horror. That's what I'm mainly looking for, is really good horror. Like, when it comes to books, I mean, like, I usually try and lean to find more horror books. The reason I read Perks of Being a Wallflower is because the author wrote Imaginary Friend, which is a horror book. And I want to support horror, because I don't feel like horror is such, like, a hated genre by the critics and the mainstream, because it's so weird to me, because horror inspired pretty much every modern fiction genre, like, was basically inspired by a lot of horror. Frankenstein... Frankenstein, of course, Dracula, stuff by, like, Lord Byron, Poe, Lovecraft, even movies, Caligari, Tim Burton. Where does he get his style from? Caligari. It's all from Caligari. Anyways, like, there's Caligari, there's the Universal movies, Psycho, Godzilla, King Kong, Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic Park's, you know, sci-fi as well, but it's still horror. Silence of the Lambs. Like, there's so much good horror out there, and there's so much, like, that the critics just don't respect for some fucking reason. Like, I don't... But it pisses me off when, like, smart-ass critics are like, oh, this is too scary, what the fuck is... This sucked, you know? Well, it's something scary. It's meant to be scary, like the new Texas Chainsaw movie. Everyone There's a critic that complained it's too violent. Like, really? You're gonna complain it's too violent? It's a Texas Chainsaw movie. Get the fuck, hold yourself, kid. And I know the guy's not a kid, he's a full-grown man, but he's a kid in my eyes. Like, again, I just don't get, and like, that's another movie. Texas Chainsaw, like the original, is inspired not just horror, but a lot of like filmmaking in general. Like a lot of gritty, like hard case crime movies as well. Like are very inspired by the filmmaking of that movie. Like there's just a lot of good elements about horror, and I just don't understand why a lot of critics will just bash horror. It's just stupid to me. And unfortunately, we don't have as much horror literature nowadays, because I'll go to the store and I bet you I'd always see the same 5 or 6 authors every time. And 2 of which are always going to be Kuntz and King, because they're the top 2. And some Anne Rice, but even then, I'm starting to see less Anne Rice nowadays. I don't see any Clive Barker nowadays. I had to order Books of Blood online. There's no actual way to get it in the store. And I want to support my local bookstores, but like, the only things they have is my sci-fi. Like, and not even all the sci-fi I want. Like, sometimes they'll have just some really shitty sci-fi, and then, because then like I go to the used bookstore and the selection's not as good either. There's not a dedicated horror section.
There is no horror. Python Arthur Conan Doyle.
I think the only place I can think of that has a good dedicated horror section is my rental store. You go to rent movies there, and you go to the buy section, and there's a dedicated horror section. I'm like, yes, thank you. Like, how else are you gonna find good movies like Dawn of the Dead or whatever? Like, most kids today aren't gonna know what the hell that is. Kids today, they know, all they know is what ghost movies and Pornhub is. That's all they know. So, like, I gotta get kids to, because obviously horror's, like, kids enjoy it as well. I think that's another reason why horror was destroyed, was because of the kid audience. Because everyone wanted slashers all the time. Slashers are fun. It doesn't like a good old slasher, Friday the 13th, you know? But what kind of ruined, but the thing is then everything became a slasher for a bit, but now we get really good elevated horror movies that are really fine pieces of art. Like literal pieces of art. And it just doesn't get the intention, it doesn't get the budget. Oh yeah, I definitely agree there. And whenever I make jokes, my jokes are always literal about stuff that exists and is real. And there's a lot of kids that can get easy access to the porn. I think if people want to watch porn, you know, they can do whatever they want, but I think there should be a sign-up page at the front of a porn site. Because now kids are being accidentally exposed. Like, if you type in cream pie on the internet, some people are like, okay, let's make a coconut cream pie. Like, you're typing in cream pie on the internet, now it'll show what we know as a cream pie, but the damn kids don't know what the fuck the damn cream pie is, and then they see that, and then, you know, they have that in their brain.
I'm not sure if you heard, but one of my friends, Milkimers, has woken up to the evils of the industry.
Wait, what? Milkimers? Did they do a video on it or something? I haven't heard about that.
She now goes by Silkivia and criticizes the feederism community.
Silkivia. I'm kind of Googling it up now. So did she delete all her old videos or something? Yeah, I guess she did. Damn. I guess that's good though, because she should. Because I think that community is a twisted community. That's a twisted community.
I am partly responsible for her conversion on account of my Why I Left series.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't actually finished your Why I Left series, and like I can kind of tell where it's going, but like I think the last episode I saw was the one where he described I think it was the day your dad died. I think that's the last one I saw currently. So fuck, I'm really behind. I was gonna watch the rest, but I always keep forgetting to.
It's good to know that more are realizing the horrors of the cult of people.
Oh yeah. And you obviously know this is a different topic entirely, but you obviously know I hate politics. But it's taken all I can to not talk about the Canadian Prime Minister here. He sucks so fucking bad that, and just takes so much money out of this country and out of people's lives that I've been considering making a video on him, bashing him, but I'm holding off on that idea. But I'm really coming close to doing it, and I really do not want to put politics on my channel at all. That's the last thing I want, because every fucking channel I love is consumed by politics. Whether it's SJW, which is bullshit, or anti-SJW, which is anti-exaggerated SJW is bullshit. I try not to get involved either, but once it starts affecting, like, people around you as well, yeah, that's a problem.
Ready to rock.
Like, say if they ever announce that they're taking away trans rights, obviously I'm a trans person, so obviously I'm gonna react to that. But like if it like when it's just stupid bullshit, like, I'll be honest, I don't give a shit about wars and stuff like that. Like, I know I give a shit in the sense, like, I care that all those people, like, all people are being hurt and all that, but, like, I'm like, we don't need to see that every day. I mean, when I say we, I mean, like, just us average kids and such. We can't do shit about that. I mean, this is the most political I'll probably ever talk on this channel, but, like, we can't really do shit about most things. So in my opinion, there's no point in blowing, like, the news station saying when the fucking Russian war happened, they're saying that, oh, the nuclear war is gonna go off. Never gonna happen. I'm not being a denier. I'm just saying it's never gonna happen. Anyways, that's probably the most I'll talk about politics ever, but, like, yeah, I'm really getting close. I'm really getting to, like, the breaking point of making a video on. Yeah. Okay, so because there's videos that I refuse to do that I consider doing.
Of mine to trample every newspaper in my path.
So there's three types of videos I've been thinking of doing. There's one on Trudeau, which I absolutely don't want to do because I don't want to divide the audience and go by politics. And I'll be honest, I don't even have a party. I don't subscribe to any party. I'm an open mind. I don't subscribe to religion either, but I consider doing a video on certain religions, like certain evangelical groups that I know. But I just realized that, you know, that it is like that's their own thing. So, like, some of the assholes, like, there's some fucking assholes I could tell you about, but I won't, and they'll get bit in the ass eventually anyways. Like, there's some fucking money cults living nearby. My uncle subscribed to one, and now he's a fucking nutcase. when I say he's a nutcase, I mean he'll just pour all his fucking money away. But like, you know, I won't get too into that. And then the third video, the one I'll probably never fucking do, because I could actually get in danger for this one. I was essayed in 2020. And the two people that did it, guy and a girl, you know, they got away with it. So, yeah, I kind of consider making a video on that too, but I won't get too into that, but, you know, it's just a hard topic, you know. If you know what SA means, like the abbreviation.
Also planned on doing a couple controversial videos, as if I haven't already done it with.
See, I have controversial videos I plan on doing, like Stranger Things is shit. I hate Stranger Things.
It is going to be part 1 with 2 minutes to go.
Wait. Yeah. Featuring Edward Lord. Edward Lord hate of the day. The Edward Lord, man, he's a fucking asshole. I hate that piece of shit. Like, I really don't like trashing people, but that guy, he's become such a big prick. Like, I was there for him when he had the whole ordeal with the KKK, but, you know, like, after that, he's become a fucking douchebag in my eyes. Alright. I'm a bit busy. So, like, my mental health, I don't usually talk about this a lot, but I've actually been doing a lot better lately. I'm actually going on a date with, few booktube channels actually follow me, and I do call.
Booktube channels actually follow me, and I do call out people by.
Ah, I see. I see, that makes sense. What you say is your main problem with BookTube? Anyways, what topic are we gonna talk about? So my mental health's actually been doing better. I'm actually heading on a date soon with a fellow trans boy, and that's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. I've never actually been on a date before. And it's a legit one, not like some like bullshit. But I'm actually heading on Sunday, actually. So that's actually got something I'm hopeful for. Well, like most of my problems stem from the being essayed. So like that's kind of why I thought about doing a video on it, because maybe I'll finally like heal from that, because I'm starting to. Like things are starting to get better. Like I don't run a Discord server anymore, but I was in the middle of running a Discord server. And yeah, just things seem to be getting a lot better, like, which is honestly a good thing. Like, Fuck.
If I remember correctly, my main problem with BookTube is the general toxicity of the community at large, propitiated by people like Edward.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, Edward Lauren, he is a toxic man. He says if you like Lovecraft, you can go fuck yourself. I quote, like, that was in one of his videos. I forget which video it was, but he I still remember that line. If you like Lovecraft, even just his writing, go fuck yourself. And then he's like, oh, but this is my opinion. Oh. Okay, so you're allowed to have opinion and tell people to go fuck themselves?
The same is the case with me.
Well, I noticed we both kind of had a bad 2020, like, which is kind of odd. Like you, of course, you know, you lost your father. I know that, and I got SA'd, so that's bad, really bad. Both of those are really, really bad. So we both kind of had a shitty 2020, and 2021 is probably a very dry period drier period for both of us. But I noticed it's probably like when we started getting better, and now I guess we're doing a lot better now. So I guess like me and you kind of relate on that, which is kind of weird in a way. I would say kind of weird, but it's not exactly weird. But I mean, I don't exactly want you to relate with having a shitty 2020. Like, I don't exactly want that. That's all what I mean. Well, but like, I should have worded that better. But like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like easier to know like how like it's like things can be bad, but like in a sense like. Christmas holiday. Oh, I don't think you talked about that, the Christmas holiday. Unless you did, and I just can't remember.
Hey guys, let's play hot potato.
I know I remember I saw you comment on a video about how something happened, like during the time that Spider-Man No Way Home came out or something like that. Obviously, you said an upcoming video. I remember a video you discussing that, so I assume you haven't talked about it yet. You don't have to talk about it here, of course. But is that the thing that was, like, is that the whole ordeal? Sorry for...
detail eventually, but the basis of it is that I underwent a psychotic episode, which resulted in a night at an asylum.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you haven't talked about that. Oh, that sucks. Sounds like a fucking dumb question, but I didn't even know asylums still existed. I thought those were banned years ago. I thought it was just sanitariums now. I was like, unless I'm delusional or something. One of my friends, I won't expose who, of course, but one of my friends had to go to a little Wiccan institution recently. They kind of
Where's the mirror?
I shouldn't say what they were gonna do, but they're gonna. They're gonna like do something bad to themselves. That's yeah. It's kind of hard to. kind of turned into like a vent stream all of a sudden. like I really don't like when like my friends are doing not very well. Like that's never fun with me at all. Like I get very attached to people very easily. It might just be. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to search up on Facebook recently to find my biological father. Not because I want to meet the bastard. I already think he's a piece of shit and I never even met him. But because, like, I want to, like, kind of see if he actually does look like me. I mean, he'd definitely be the straight version of me. But, like, yeah, ever since I found out that my father's not actually my father and that I born from a different man. Follow me along and let's try to pause the episode. Shit, I should know, but like, fuck. I keep forgetting shit. Shit, I cannot exactly think what the cause would be. I feel like I've heard you say it in the video. It depends on when I came in, because what video did I come in at? Let me look. It was one of the book reviews. I don't know which video was that. I think I commented on a couple videos before the one I actually came into, but oh, yeah. Now I remember. That's. Now I know what you're talking about, yeah. I've heard you mention that before, so now I can assume that. Off topic, but you gotta just appreciate retro games. This game came out in 2001, I think. 2001, I think it's 2001. This is actually the HD version, but the HD version was like 2008. You gotta appreciate these retro games. Like you don't get too many of these nowadays. Video games are an amazing art form. Surely. Unless you're like Michael, who kind of hates everything that came out after year 1996. Okay, that's what I was searching up. Okay. Yeah, when did I start watching you? Fuck. I should, not your save playlist. It should be in your playlist. Where's your fucking fuck. Complete cream. The fucking complete cream. Shit. It's one of your book reviews. Shit. Excuse my language. Shit. Fuck. Okay, when I came in, it was actually on, the book, shit. No, that's not the book, but when I first came in, the book was, I think it was actually The Shawl when I came in, when you reviewed The Shawl. I remember that book. Yeah, because, like, I know I watched the Terror Key video and the Alchemist video, but I think it was before I, fully started watching your videos. So obviously I've seen like one or two. Yeah. I recently watched Mary Poppins Returns, actually. And let's just say I didn't even finish the movie. So that tells you everything, because I finished every movie I watched. Except Gladiator. I didn't finish Gladiator. Not because I hated it, because I watched it in school, and then Corona beer happened, and when Corona beer happened, I was out of school for a whole month, of course. And when Corona beer was crazy, I then went and tried to watch the rest of Gladiator, but couldn't. And then the school year ended, and we didn't get to finish Gladiator. So I know what happened to the end of Gladiator because I just went and searched up the ending of it. And it's a good movie, what I saw, but like I didn't get to see the last 30 minutes. So I didn't get to see the famous battle of the movie. I wish I did get to see the rest of the movie. So again, I liked what I watched, but I didn't get to see the full movie. I guess the first half of Gladiator is just pretty good, but the second half, I guess, is just not able to be finished or something. I don't know. We almost got to watch Schindler's List, but we didn't get to watch it, so I still have not seen Schindler's List. We're gonna watch Schindler's List for modern history. We watched Gladiator, half of it, for social studies, and then we watched all of Troy. We got to see all of Troy. Plus, it was on Netflix, so I got to finish it at home anyways. Troy was a piece of shit. Gets a lot of things wrong about the Greek mythology, just bullshits fit for a fucking movie. And, yeah. So I think Greek mythology is just a very rich, like, even if you don't believe it, it's just a very rich thing to read about. Like the Iliad, the Odyssey, yeah, Ulysses, like all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just a very rich thing to read about. Even if you don't believe it, you kind of get a neat story out of it. And the way that the, oh, damn. I've never actually watched The Martian, unfortunately. What Ridley Scott movies have you seen? I love Ridley Scott. He's one of the best filmmakers. Of course, I've seen Gladiator, and I know I've seen half of Gladiator, and you've seen half of Gladiator. You ever seen Alien or Blade Runner or Thelma and Louise? That was pretty good. I really liked The Last Duel. I saw House of Gucci in the theater. I really like House of Gucci. I get some things right about the Gucci history. Because Ridley Scott does a lot of research. Yeah, Ridley Scott, man, he's one of the best filmmakers like ever, in my opinion. Even if some of his modern movies aren't as good, like Exodus, Gods and Kings is not as good. I'm not sure if you would like The Last Duel, but I love The Last Duel. It's an amazing picture. It's definitely a modern masterpiece by Ridley Scott. I still need to see The Martian, of course. I know it's heinous. I've never seen The Martian, but I really like Prometheus, of course. Prometheus is very good. Legend, I know Ahab hates that movie, but he hates a lot of movies that are now like kind of B movies nowadays. He kind of doesn't enjoy B movies as much anymore. And Legend is a very weird movie. Tim Curry is the devil. That should tell you everything. Tim Curry is the devil. It's by no means an amazing movie. Because let me look at Ridley Scott's filmography. Obviously, his early work, Alien, is a masterpiece. That is his best movie by far. I haven't seen The Martian, so I probably shouldn't even. Oh, Black Hawk Down, that's really good. I really like Black Hawk Down. So, like, The Duelist is pretty good. Alien, Blade Runner, Legend, Someone to Watch Over Me, Black Rain, Thelma and Louise. Those are very good. 1492 is pretty decent. White Squall, G.I. Jane, Will Smith. G.I. Jane, it's a fun movie, People watched it. It was okay. Gladiator, of course. Hannibal. I love Hannibal. Black Hawk Down, Matchstick Men. Kingdom of Heaven's very good. A good year, very good. American Gangster, very good. Body of Lies, very good. I actually liked his version of Robin Hood. It's just a really neat version of Robin Hood. I know it's got mixed reviews, but I just liked it. Prometheus, of course. The Counselor, Exodus, Gods and Kings it was okay. Never seen The Martian. Alien Covenant sucks ass. All the Money in the World is pretty good. Originally supposed to have, what's that guy's name? The rapist, Kevin Spacey. But, of course, they cut him out because, he's the rapist. And then Last Duel is very good, and then House of Gucci is really good as well. So there's a lot of good movies. I think my favorite director, actually, would probably be George A. Romero. Like, George A. Romero, man, let's look at this guy's filmography. Let's look at this. He's also half Canadian, too, so bonus points. So, Night of the Living Dead, one of my favorite movies of all time. Oh, of course, it's a masterpiece. There's Always Vanilla, very good. Season of the Witch, a really neat movie. The Crazies, very good. The Amusement Park, very good. Martin, a masterpiece. Dawn of the Dead, a masterpiece. Knight Rider, a masterpiece. Creepshow, another one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it. It's still in my top 25, always. Day of the Dead, a masterpiece. Creepshow 2, he didn't direct it, but it's still really good. Monkey Shines, very good. Tales from the Dark Side, the TV show, was amazing. The movie as well, amazing. Two Evil Eyes, it's a mixed bag, but it's a really neat version of the facts in the case of Monsieur de Valdemar, which is the story he tackles. Two Evil Eyes is actually two stories. He wrote the Night of the Living Dead remake, very good. Dark Half is amazing. Jack Randa Joe, it's okay. Bruiser's pretty good. Land of the Dead is really good. Diary of the Dead's pretty good. Survival of the Dead is shit. It is shit. It sucks. The Crazies remake, meh. Iron City Ass Kickers, I haven't seen that one yet, but I heard it's okay. But yeah, George A. Romero, he's probably my favorite director, and my second favorite would be David Cronenberg. Because not to keep going on rants, but David Cronenberg. Let's look at this guy's filmography. Stereo is weird, and I love weird. Crimes of the Future, very good. Shivers, I love Shivers. Rabid is awesome. As I said, I'm writing a story that's very similar to Rabid. Fast Company is awesome. But The Brood, Scanners, Videodrome, The Dead Zone is based on King, and it's still very much King in spirit. The Fly, a very good remake, which the original is pretty good, and they have shits on it.
By nature weird.
Yeah. The Fly is awesome. Dead Ringers is a masterpiece. Naked Lunch is best movie. Naked Lunch is awesome. M Butterfly is great. Crash is very twisted. Existence is good. Spider. History of Violence is a good adaptation of the DC comic. Eastern Promises was pretty good, although Ahab kind of got mad at me for putting it in not in the top 5 of his movies. I'm like, it's really good, it's just not his top 5. Because he's got other really good movies. Dangerous Method's pretty good. Cosmopolis is really good. Master of the Stars, it was okay. And then the New Crimes of the Future, which is not related to the old Crimes of the Future. It's kind of weird. But the New Crimes of the Future was actually pretty decent. And the New Crimes of the Future it just came out recently on DVD, Blu-ray. Watch it. It is a modern horror sci-fi masterpiece. It is great. People are shitting on it because they don't understand it or they're grossed out by it. Although critics actually like the movie, the people are shitting on it. And it's a great movie. Awesome. It's badass. And my third favorite director would have to be John Carpenter. But you probably know every John Carpenter movie. I think my favorite movie of his would be Prince of Darkness, which is the sequel to The Thing. But Prince of Darkness is just such a dark, dark movie. It's so good. Okay, recent movies you should watch. You should watch The Black Phone, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, The Black Phone. Did I already say The Black Phone? Okay, The Black Phone, The Northman. Batman is actually a really good take on Batman, of course. Because I'm a big DC fan, and Batman's a really good modern take. And, so that was actually pretty decent. Batman. What's another movie? Check out, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Check out X-Men as well. Is pretty good.
Requesting a parcel from Ahab and Boontick. I'm debating if I should pre-record my unboxing, or do it live. What do you think?
Maybe do it live, because that way you kind of get live reactions, and essentially you can kind of talk with Ahab and Boontick when you're opening it as well. I sent one of my friends a parcel of my 10 favorite books of all time. I'm sorry, my 15 favorite books of all time. And here's the list. Here's the big list. You want to see my favorite books of all time? This is the big ass list. So let's do it. If I can get the fucking damn thing. Shit. Shit. Okay. So my top 15 books of all time, in no particular order. The Dark Tower of the Gunslinger by Stephen King. Night Flyers by George R. R. Martin. The original Foundation trilogy. 200 Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. The Hobbit. The Great and Secret Show by Clive Barker. The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. Dune by Frank Herbert. Cabal by Clive Barker. Intensity by Dean Koontz. Hearts and Atlantis by Stephen King. The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. And my favorite book of all time would be The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. And other honorable mentions would be The Time Machine, The War of the Worlds, and The Shadow over Innsmouth, and The Man in the High Castle. That would be my honorable mentions. If I had to pick what my honorable mentions would be. I think the fucking Hellbound Heart will always remain my favorite book of all time. It's actually the book that inspired me to write and explore. It is the book that actually inspired me to write exploitation and explore other genres. Because obviously when I was first starting to read, I only read Stephen King. I love Stephen King. Love him to this day. He's a master, man. And I think you'll appreciate the King as well. I'll be legitimately surprised if you don't appreciate the King.
My favorite books, but A Modern Utopia will definitely be on there.
Yeah. I remember when you posted your original favorite books video, and I remember you said that, in a video before, that Foundation beat Animal Farm. And I could tell that your favorite books video was probably posted before you did a mini review on Foundation. But, well, of course, Foundation was not in your favorite books video, so I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, because I feel like if that was updated today, Miles would be like, oh, Foundation. I am surprised. You immediately went back and read the book again. And I think you said you read it twice or something, like 3 times or something like that. And I was like, holy shit. That's fast. What's your favorite story in Foundation? This sounds kind of stupid, but I like the intro the best, actually. The intro of Harry Seldon.
It's an old video. Foundation is in my top 10 for sure.
I think Foundation and Empire, if I had to specifically say what's my favorite Foundation book, I'd have to say Empire. Because Empire starts off with Foundation versus the Empire, and then the second story is the Foundation versus the Mutant. And that's two of the most intriguing parts, and in the most important parts of the entire Foundation universe. So it's basically the book that kind of sets the events, the rest of the events of the series in place. So it's the most important. Because the first Foundation book's really good, of course, but of course it is an intro book. It is the book to introduce us to the world. Foundation Empire, like, yeah, this is like when we got the story. And then Second Foundation's a good, like, mystery-ish kind of thing. Ends with one of the most brilliant endings in fiction. My only problem with Second Foundation is that he does kind of leave it open-ended. I'm not going to spoil nothing, but he does kind of leave it a bit open-ended. Because I think he kind of knew that he'd eventually write sequels. And I heard the two sequels are good, but not amazing, like the first three. I heard the prequels are a lot better, though. Yeah, I guess he really did pull a Star Wars before a Star Wars. I have most of the robot books, so I'm gonna read those before I start the Foundation sequels. And plus, I hope you kind of catch up to me with Foundation, so that, like, hey, like, if you ever catch up to me with King or Foundation or something like that, we could co-read again. I'm probably gonna read Caves of Steel over the weekend. I really want to read that fucking book. They have the Caves of Steel and they have Naked Sun. Alright, thanks, Dr. Miles. I'll probably leave the stream soon, actually. Anyways, have a good night, Miles. Josephine out.
I smell some serious firepower around here. To be or not to be? That is a serious question.
I don't know why you must be dancing in the fucking rain.